In this video, I'm going to be covering some ways to not incur bad debt in your 20s and maybe even early 30s. Just letting you know, I actually believe that we can leverage our debt in any capacity because we live in such a debit versus credit driven society in the United States. I do think, however, sometimes that while we're trying to build capital, debt can be really detrimental to our bank account and really slow down our capital investments and also then opportunities. Many people are also struggling right now, and I don't think we're taught this very well in school. Some of these points I'm going to share in this video today aren't exactly tied with direct debt. It will just prolong the debt that you already have if you keep incurring these major expenses in your life. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lisa. I used to work as an engineer in corporate, and now I've ventured off to do my own thing. So let's get started. Don't do a graduate degree until someone is willing to pay for it, or if you're super sure that is what you want to do for the rest of your life, or at least for a while. Because the average master's degree in the United States typically costs between $30,000 to $120,000, with the average hovering around $62,000. Master's degree, at least going into industry, can help, but it's not essential. And a lot of the times you'll land up with a lot of debt around your shoulders. So if you are considering graduate school, especially just a master's degree, consider getting that covered or stay at your school if you can get the opportunity of research to get it covered for. My undergraduate was at the University of Colorado in Boulder. I went to engineering school there. And during my third year, I met my advisor who let me know that if I did research for her, she would help me with my tuition. Now, if you're going to engineering school or plan to go to engineering school, you should know that it is extremely difficult to get your master's funded, but it's almost always guaranteed to get your PhD funded. Why? Because with a PhD, you're locked into research for about maybe 4 to 6 years, and so people are more willing to provide funding if you're going to contribute to the Research Society. But with the master's, it's only a year to 2 years, and often you're only producing a thesis. You're not producing that much research, and so people are more reluctant to fund you. So not all degrees require college, which brings me to my next point, number 2. You don't have to go to college in 2023 in order to be successful. So there's really 5 degrees, in my opinion, that you really need college for. I actually made a video about it over here. Go check them out. They probably are intuitive and you already know about them. I would highly consider going to trade school or immediately going into business like e-commerce, etc. if you have no idea what you want to do with your life, because college is definitely an investment. I have no beef against college, but I do know that the hefty loans can really weigh people down. I think in the last decade, it's been reported that college has inflated by something like 260%, which is quite ridiculous, and it's really hard to keep up with for the middle class. Don't get such a fancy car. Now, you know that interest rates has been the highest they have been for a long time, with loan rates increasing continuously in 2023 due to the continual rise of Federal Reserve interest rates. Just a payment for a car monthly on a new car is around $716 per month, or some sources $730 per month. And only $200 behind it is the average monthly payment for a used car, which is $526 per month. That's crazy. And the scariest part about all of this is the average annual percentage rate, or what you know as APR, shot to the first quarter of 2023 so far, shot to almost 7%, which is quite ridiculous. All I have to say about this is that even though we haven't gotten a new car for years now and we've had the same car, it's paid off our bank account and our investments way more. Number 4, don't be tempted to live in such a fancy place right after a job promotion or graduation from college. It's sometimes super tempting because we'll convince ourselves, oh, it's for the better. It's right next to the dog park for my doggo. Oh, it's right next to work. It's by the train station. And we go and get these luxury apartments right by work for us in some downtown area. And it seems really nice. We live in Westminster, Colorado, and used to work in Denver, Colorado, where the estimated rent is about $2,175, according to Zillow from April 26 per month. That is easily 50% of someone's paycheck, like a junior engineer who has 0 experience in their paycheck. According to a Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, only about 30% of your income every month should go towards housing, or you'll start seeing burdens to pay for other expenses down the line. 5, commit to being wealthy as opposed to just looking wealthy. So see these colorful shirts that you see on me in every video? I used to be a huge spender of clothing back in high school and in my early college days when I was still an undergrad. I would literally spend every penny that I made from research or being a teaching assistant and whatnot. And after going to graduate school and thinking about my personal finances and what my goals are for the future, I started changing. It is so tempting out of school or after a promotion to get yourself brand new everything. It's so interesting because I had to sit down and develop a 3 to 5 year plan for myself in order to convince myself to not get into debt. I started after my first job living like I was, ironically, a poor college student. I would pack my lunch everywhere. I never went out for coffee. I never went out to eat ever. I would only buy clothing 1 to 2 pieces a year if I had holes in my really, really old clothing. And I also took the bus to work all the time. That really helped us because now we have an investment property saved up. Little did I know that in the beginning of this year, I would meet people at church or friends that we meet at parties who would tell us how much financially they are struggling. And ironically, these people always look like $1 million everywhere they went. 6, don't act impulsively on decisions. This is a struggle for everyone of every age. When we think of a bright idea, we actually would go ahead sometimes and do it. There's a lot of people who struggle with impulsive actions, and I used to be one of them. I actually now keep this little planner. I don't like to journal very much, but I keep a little planner where I would write down a decision that I've made and give myself 1 to 2 months to think about it before I act on the decision. So right out of college, graduate school, I wanted to go to law school. I went and had conversations with a lot of lawyers who are family friends or just friends in general, and almost all of them said that law school and their lawyer profession was very different. A lot of them were considering not being a lawyer anymore. Come to find out, I realized there's a whole community of lawyers who quit on YouTube. I'm really glad I didn't go to law school because I would have been $300K in debt. And if I had acted impulsively, I might be in law school right now only to come out and realize I don't want to have that as a profession. 7 is set alarms to pay for your credit cards and never miss a payment. So credit cards are really, really important in the United States because everything functions off credit here. If you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, if you want to purchase any big purchase, they look at your credit statement. Late credit card fees are really real. There's about $40 of transaction fees or more depending on the credit company that you go with. Moreover, you're charged a compounded interest per day. Yes, you heard right. How that works often is you take your annual percentage rate or your APR divided by the amount of days, 365 per year, that gets multiplied by how much you owe to the credit card company, and then that amount is compounded every single day you don't pay for your credit card. Also, you're going to lose points. If you miss a payment, chances are that your credit score is going to decrease. So never miss a credit card payment. Set alarms, do whatever you can to make sure that doesn't happen. 8 is pretty controversial because I love animals myself, and that is consider not getting an animal, a cat or a dog typically, until you are very financially stable and you're comfortable with where you're at. With owning a pet comes the responsibility and also the bills. According to the APPA, or American Pet Product Association, Americans spend around $132 billion in 2022 on their pets, which averages out to about $730 per year. I know that if you love your pet, that's definitely the lower end of the spectrum because in some states, $730 is probably per month on a pet. Getting a pet doesn't necessarily increase your debt. It just means that you'll take a longer period of time to pay off the debt that you may already have in your 20s and 30s. Also, there's a huge time commitment to owning a pet. I love dogs and I choose right now to foster animals as opposed to getting one myself, because we really have all our time gone towards hustling and taking up random stuff and also building some businesses on the side. And so it's really difficult to take care of a pet. I know it's really, really hard because a lot of you feel like a pet is going to give you some comfort during this lonely time where everything's on the internet. But consider finding roommates. Consider really, really interacting with people. I know it's not ideal to live with roommates, but seriously, it could help pay for bills and also keep you company. So I hope that was all really helpful. Personally, these are all tips that I have followed myself, and it's really helped me not have debt. The only debt that I really have right now is the mortgage that we have on our house, which inevitably we'll start renting out this place if we ever move, and this will become a debt that we're going to leverage. I know for a fact that our generation as millennials and Gen Zers have so much potential to learn about money and get good with our money. And a lot of debt that we incurred when you see these drastic crazy numbers are probably because that we've never had personal finance education or because of lifestyle inflation. So I really do think that if we are able to understand our finances and start controlling lifestyle inflation, we can start lowering the numbers of debt in our generation and below us. Take care, you guys.